Hey guys, it's Kyla at the MJC, and today I'm here to talk to you guys about the Part 2 filing stipulated without minor children. But before I get started, as always, I just want to remind you guys that nothing in this video is intended to be legal advice. It's a video, so even though I'm going to explain the general situations when folks file stipulated without minor children, I can't analyze your specific situation and tell you for sure whether this is the right way for you to go forward or not. I also am not able to analyze your agreement and to tell you whether a court will agree to what you guys are trying to do or whether what you're doing is in your best interest. So if you have those sorts of questions, I definitely recommend getting some legal advice. Here in Milwaukee, you can get brief legal advice for free through the Marquette Volunteer Legal Clinics. If you're not located in Milwaukee County, you can also contact your clerk of court to find out what resources are available in your area. All right, so this is on the stipulated without minor children part 2. And so you'll be doing stipulated if you and your spouse started separately, but now you agree. And so we'll go through just sort of some of the specifics of that. So as I mentioned, you and your spouse started separately. That means that one or the other of you filed the summons and petition without minor children. There are a couple of reasons why you might have done that. Most commonly, it's because you guys didn't agree originally. Maybe one of you didn't want to get divorced, but now has kind of come around to the idea. Maybe you just hadn't talked to each other yet and didn't know that you agreed, and so you started separately because you just wanted to get going. So that's probably the most common way that we see. But for some folks, another reason that you might have started separately and now be going forward together is if one of you qualified for the fee waiver and the other didn't. Some people will go ahead and file separately so that the person who qualifies can get the fees waived, but then if they can come to an agreement on everything, they can go forward together. And you'll want to make sure you do need to agree 100% about property division and maintenance, and two other things that I forgot. Yes, property division and maintenance. Basically, you need to agree, sorry about that, you need to agree about everything in your specific situation. So, for example, maintenance, you have to agree to a specific number if that's going to be ordered. So, you can't just say, we agree there's going to be maintenance, but we want the court to figure out how much. You actually have to say, we agree to this specific number. Same thing with property division. I find that most people who are going forward together, property division isn't their issue, but if for you, say you have a house and you guys both agree that, you don't want to live together anymore, but you can't agree who takes the house, or one of you wants to sell it, one of you wants to keep it, you do need to agree 100% about every little detail to go forward stipulated. So if you don't agree about all the details, you can either go forward separately, or if you're pretty close, you might try either getting some legal advice or trying a group that does mediation, because obviously mediators are trying to help you and your spouse come to an agreement so that you can go forward together. Some other things that you'll need in a situation where you're filing stipulated, is you and your spouse both need to be willing and able to fill out the forms. We'll get some people that say, yeah, I want to go forward stipulated. We didn't agree before, but now since my spouse knows I just want my stuff, I think they'll agree. And I say, that sounds wonderful. We're going to need them to fill out these forms. And people say, whoa, they're not going to fill out any forms. They just agree that I can do this. Unfortunately, to go forward stipulated, you and your spouse do need to be able to work together at least a little to fill out the forms and to sign the forms. So if you don't think your spouse will be willing to do a financial disclosure, or you're worried that they won't sign forms, then you may need to end up doing the process separately or contested. And then last but not least, you and your spouse both need to be able to attend that final divorce hearing. Again, we get some people where they say, oh yeah, they agree 100%, but they live in, France and can't make it. Right now, and as I'm recording this, we're in the coronavirus pandemic. Right now, they're doing the hearings by phone or by Zoom. So if you have someone who can attend by phone or by Zoom, they still might be able to come, even if they're not located in Milwaukee. But if you're watching this in the future and they're back to in-person hearings, or you're not sure what the hearings are doing right now, generally speaking, you would both need to be able to attend your final hearing. So if you think that might be an issue, again, that could be a good thing to get some advice about before you do all the paperwork to make sure that this is a good option for you. So if you've heard me give all of those warnings and you say, you know what, this is the process, this sounds right, then you're probably wondering what forms you need. You will need, and I should note, these are the forms that you need to fill out. This does not include additional things that you need to gather but don't need to fill out. So for example, you need a proof of service document. I haven't listed that here because this is just the forms that you need to find and fill out. If you're looking for a list of everything you need to have, so the forms you need, but also things that you might need to gather, like that proof of service or the docketing fee, the envelopes that you'll need, all that kind of stuff, you'll want to find our checklist videos. Those go through sort of all the documents that you'll need and all that sort of stuff. But here, just briefly, again, you'll need to do a financial disclosure statement, and I should note you need one for each of you. So you can't just do one. You have to do one for joint petitioner, or I'm sorry, one for the petitioner, the original petitioner, and one for the respondent. You'll need the marital settlement agreement without minor children. And you'll note I did write down the form numbers for you guys. We really don't use the form numbers much, so in watching these videos, the form numbers won't be referenced very often. But if you're looking for the videos, if you need to find them, or I'm sorry, the forms, if you need to find them, the numbers can be helpful. You can find the forms if you've gotten a packet from your law library. You'll probably already have the forms. If you're trying to find them online, you can find them on our website, which is www.milwaukeejusticecenter.org. And you can also find them on the WI Courts Forms site. So anyway, you'll want that marital settlement agreement. Be sure you have the marital settlement, not the proposed marital settlement. They are different forms, even though they look very similar and their names are very similar. If anyone is going to be asking for maintenance, you'll want the interim financial summary. You will need the order to appear form. Be careful, this is different from the order for pretrial order to appear, which is a form you see in Milwaukee that is different than the order to appear. You'll also need the declaration of non-military service, the divorce annulment worksheet, the findings of fact, conclusions of law and judgment without minor children, and the party's approval of the findings of fact, conclusions of law and judgment. If anyone is going to be changing their surname, so going back to a maiden name or any other previous last name that they've used, you'll also want that abridgment regarding surname form. All right, well, that is all for this video. In this series, we're going to go through all of those forms and how to fill them out. So you can either watch this whole playlist in order and just go through every form, or if you have a specific area that you have questions on, you can skip ahead to that area and just watch those videos. All right, well, that is all for now. I do hope this was helpful for you. If you have more questions during non-pandemic times, you can find us in room G9 of the Milwaukee County Courthouse. Until then, thank you all for watching, and I hope that you all go out and represent yourselves well.